Right, good evening and hello race fans. We are back here for Formula Racing League Super Sprint Sunday. We are round two, and as you can see, we're in an ultimately dark but dry Spa-Fracorchamps in Belgium. I am Greg, and my good friend Owen is here for the ride in the commentary box. Off we go again, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, mate. Round two of the Super Sprint Sunday. Fantastic to be back with another round of absolutely spicy action. As we saw race two last week, Jazzman start from the back and come all the way to P2 in the end of that race. So it's definitely going to see what the man has in his weaponry for a track like Spa this week.
As he sends a little message, hello elbow cough. So he's everywhere. He's in every bit of the track. He's like Lightning McQueen with that little light beam following him around. So he's literally everywhere on track. As you can see on the timing board, he has already set an ominous marker down of a 2:15.965. Time beyond my wildest dreams.
There, buddy. That is a dab emoji from the Mr. Jazzman.
Right. So it doesn't come up as an emoji on my screen. Silly.
Oh no, it does. It's a dab emoji on, so I can tell you, on my stream here. It is a dab emoji from the alien.
But no, there we go. PlayStation making him look like an old moron.
Well, it's not wrong.
It's very true. Fresh out the womb is Owen.
I know. Got carpet burns.
So we are here on Super Sprint Sunday, as mentioned. It is a slightly changed format from previous years, previous seasons. So last season we had a full qualifying, and then a 20-minute race, and another qualifying, and a 40-minute feature race. Now we are simply doing a one-shot quali of 5-minute segments for the drivers in each tier: Pro, Silver and Am, noted as white, grey and red on your left of your screen. So Am will go out first, then Silver, then Pro for the fastest lap times, and then we'll go into the grid that is set by for 20 minutes. No need to pit unless you're damaged. And then for all those that complete at least 75% of the race, they will go into a reverse grid for race 2 of 40 minutes, where, as Owen mentioned before, you can watch the fascinating overtakes and moves from the fastest in the league coming all the way from the back onto the grid, as we watch Leica test out a barrier or two heading through Les Combes.
Speaking of barriers, the server obviously should be spick and span. Our Mr. Gedman safety barrier inspector has come to his senses and is in his bright yellow high-vis tennis ball Porsche again this week. So if you do see him on track, give him a wave. Make sure you test the barriers for him, because he's worked hard making sure the circuit is safety approved for tonight.
I did catch him actually really spear it in through the bus stop chicane, didn't brake, lifted it, and I'm pretty sure he ended up on the other side of the barrier like Grosjean. So many things to look forward to in the Wreckfest that is Mr. Gedman. So
but from one Wreckfest to WRC, we cannot go unnoticed. Mr. G Brown is still in the Lamborghini. Disgusting car, I mean a lovely car. So far.
I mean, he has changed the colours around a bit though, hasn't he? He's ditched my livery, the Borbo livery, and he's gone for. Oh look, there's a
he's listening. He knows.
He tested a barrier and then went full Dua Lipa and started levitating. Green light. So we're going to try and find the first car out on track from the Am tier. It's a long out lap, so they will really only get one lap. I believe that is Vandervoort that's gone out first. 23. Dreadlock Steve. Be careful coming out the pit lane exit. It's a tight one. You don't want to be caught out before your on-track antics even begin. So he heads down the Kemmel Straight obviously, it's not quite the closest track on the game, longest track on the game. Obviously, the Nordschleife takes that by a country mile, but in terms of regular um, normal circuits, Spa is by far one of the longest, and it's an awfully long outlap. 2 minutes 20 is a rough average lap time around here. So until that's Vermeulen, he'll shave 5 seconds off it. But Dreadlock Steve's going to be the first one to set a marker down for us, as he's got a little while, still another 2 sectors to go before he starts his lap. It's a tricky one. A lot of off-camber corners, a lot of speed to carry around corners here, especially here like Pouon. You've got to not brake too much and carry the speed, let the car swing out and then flatten your foot to the floor and hope the car sticks all the way around. And then you end up in the Fangers section. Fagnus? I can never say it right. It's a G before an N. It's weird. Which is quite off camber. Car really wants to slip around. Very little in the way of downforce. But then once you get to this point here, you really don't have to lift your foot up all the way into the bus stop chicane. So really, really enjoyable for the drivers, especially on the Blanchimont turn. This one coming up just here. You won't catch many drivers lifting through there unless they're driving one of the boats. Dreadlock Steve showing early, heavily committed. But let's have a wander around Spa-Fracorchamps with a good friend of the league, Dreadlock Steve. There's Clayton.
But just to add on to that, buddy, just got the standings up whilst my phone was having a funny 5 minutes. First place in the AM tier is in a 4-way tie after round 1.
Oh, that's what the fantastic thing what reverse grids does. It really allows to show who is fast and who's got racing pedigree, who can come through the grid. Now we're just going to go quiet to see if he lifts through Eau Rouge. No, it seems pretty flat to me. So still hasn't. Oh no, has he backed
I think
out?
he invalidated at the top.
Oh, so he may not have kept his foot flat, but he didn't manage to keep it valid. So let's try and find another car going around.
There is Visser down in P34 at the minute because he's not set a lap. Next car in the lineup.
Visser, one of our newer drivers, so he's in a white livery, as you'll spot through this evening. All new drivers for so many races of the season, if not the full season, have been told they do need to run a white livery, just so people can get used to them. Maybe learn as they go. I've always said you can be a really good driver, but unless you know your fellow competitors quite well, it can be very difficult to race side by side. So if you spot a white car, give it a little bit more of a margin. Or be ready to, have a bit more of a dicey time, unsure about what's going to happen next to a driver you're not too familiar with. So that's why the white liveries are out there. But Vista seems really committed on this lap. He heads into Fagner's section. Really opened up the second part here, the left-hander. Didn't take too much inside curb, but it's going to go through the campus corner now.
Very committed on the track limits there from Visser there. Can he keep it nice and tight? I think he can.
So track limits do change throughout this track from my practice. Sometimes it is all the way outside the red and yellow. Sometimes it is just over the rumple strips on the outside. I know from experience that's okay. But there is a white timing line. I think it's what has been previously an F1 DRS line. You can brake just after that. And he's gone all the way to the outside. Our first lap time for the session from Visser is at 2:19.5. Very respectable first lap. And we've got the times coming from Klugin with a 19.2. I've picked up Townsend in a... What colour did he say this was last week? It's pink to me, but he's pretty sure he disagreed. Lilac?
Didn't we say it was purple ink, or purple pink?
We can do that. Townsend comes towards line, is McLaren. Quite far off. I did not expect that from Townsend.
So whilst we are waiting for the middle tier to get round, Dazza Townsend, obviously currently P1 in a four-way tie, Kalugan, Cablo, Thacker, all tying up P1 at the minute. Visser, P5, Dreadlock Steve, P6, Corkumlakis, P7, Danny Felix, P8, Coppins, P9, D. Wilt, P10, Trotman, P11, currently in the standings. So it's all to play for in the AM tier. I'll see if I can quickly reel off the silver tier as well.
You've got about half
Johnny
a lap.
Sharp and Stu Rogers currently tie P1 in the silver tier. Lee Colpitts P3, Gedman P4, Serfontaine P5, Naisbitt P6, Luke Richards P7, Gordon Brown P8, Chekmasov P9, Jabino P10, Vanderwall P11, Patrice Derrick P12, Gareth Harvey P13 there in the silver tier. Located on the left hand side in the silver boxes for your leisure.
So we are just, because of the long out lap, Owen's got plenty of time to go through these, but we are about to get Naisbitt coming into the bus stop to start his lap in the Sky Ferrari. So it seems to slow quite a bit for the bus stop. That's backed up the car behind him. We wouldn't be too happy about that. Who's that behind him? Is that Serfontaine? Yeah, he's massively gone deep in the sauce there, so we're still on board with Naisbitt.
Too saucy on the sauce.
That's Naisbitt, really heavily committed there. But for the car behind him, going to be looking for a slipstream, especially through here.
That is Mr. Richings 104.
He'll brake just before the curb. In through Lecon. Trying to hook too much of that inside will pull you in and send your rear round, and before you know it, you'll be off to go mine the stone in the hills of Belgium. Now down through Rivage. And through the corner with No Name. Don't invalidate on the outside, it's very well done. Now, critical corner coming up. Puon. You can brake just by a service door on the left hand side. Use as much of the outside as you need. It's not necessarily if your car's got the downforce, but don't scrub any speed. Get back over to the left, brake just before the curbing on the left hand side. Throw the car in. Open up the left hander. Take the curb on the inside if you dare. Don't go too deep on the outside curbing. You've got a long way to go back to the left. Now you want to be on the power now. Don't come back off it until you see a bus stop. Does well not to invalidate on the outside. Seemingly got good downforce on this Ferrari. Pulling left, braking, watch the nose dive into the bus stop chicane. Up the hill. Really tight on exit. And Naisbitt is going to start us off with a 2:18.2 with Richings almost a second behind. I do think his lap was hurt as Jabino in the NSX mixing with the AM-tier drivers, a bit down on that. Brown and the Lamborghini still got a bit of his lap left to do. But Doran
Harvey that just slotted P2 there.
Doran Oakenshield, as I called him last season, down in P10. 909 Jablonski in a nice bright white Bentley. That does look clean in white, doesn't it, that Bentley? And he goes.
I think it's definitely a lot cleaner than when G Brown used it and Gedman used it, because he didn't have as many red and white or red and yellow barrier on it.
As Brown pops himself P2, only 2/10 down from Naisbitt. Admin's duking it out for those positions. What about Sharp? He goes P3, half a second down, nearly on Naisbit.
So obviously, without due reason, the alien, aka Mr. Jazzman, is out first in the Pro Tier. And obviously, without due, he is leading the Pro Tier, as expected. Wouldn't expect anything else, would you, buddy?
No, I've just seen Rogers, who has been doing really well in this tier, seemingly didn't get to set a lap there. So, no time for him. He's going to start at the back. No, I obviously wouldn't expect anything other than from him. He just, with the speed he's carrying, he doesn't want to be stuck behind anybody.
So he currently has a 10-point lead over P2 in the tier. Jack Prentice is P2, Rashidov is P3, Samuel Grave P4, Andrew Eden P5, Legovich P6, Alan Sharp P7, Wouter Heymans P8, Josh Clayton P9, Fabio Travaglioli P10, Morgan Grace P11, Tadeusz Leica P12, and 13 Vaclav Popisil. If I said that wrong, I do apologise. Let us know so we don't butcher it for the rest of the season.
Popisil. Phonetically, that's how I would say it. But feast rise, everybody. The lap you've all come to see. Mr. Vermeulen. Very sharp turning for La Source. No sign of the rear stepping out or him losing the front. Immediately on the power. Expecting a big cut at the bottom of La Source. Not too much. And a lot of margin on the exit onto the Kemmel. So, really undramatic. Nothing to critique, but also nothing to really make you go, oh my god, he's risked anything there. It's just well managed, careful, clean speed. Now, the section of the track, Sector 2, where you can lose a lot of time, it has the most corners, the most slow speed. So keeping your minimum speed up is very, very important here. Then through the corner with no name. Heavy on the track limits, using every inch of track that you can afford to use. Letting his car rise up a little bit on the suspension through Pouon, but that's okay. Brakes a whole lot later into there than I do. That's not to be surprised though.
Very controlled from the alien there. Ooh, it does look a little bit wide on track limits there.
But all fine still. Now, a few 100 meters of really easy running. Provided you guys exit fine out of turn 15. Great late braking into the bus stop. Marginally misses the apex, but that's okay. He's carried plenty of speed. He did a 2:15.9 in practice. What will this be? 2:16.1. So with the pressure on, he's only dropped 0.2. Who else have we got? 41. Travaglioli, closest competitor in practice. We're expecting this to be good and high up. It's a good time, and it's P2, but it's 1.3 seconds down. And then we've got Prentice dropping in P3. Grace in P4.
I think this is going to be another one of those, buddy. I mean, Jazzman did say he really does like Silverstone. It's just going to be a case of really liking Spa.
Really likes it.
Be interesting to see, is there a track that Jazzman doesn't like?
Indy 500 Oval. Where skill gets reduced down a little bit. I'm just on board with Prentice at the moment in a lighter British Racing green Aston Martin, racing in my number 32.
The only one I think that can take the fight to Vermeulen is Leica, which I believe he is using the Aston Martin this season. Sorry, the Mustang this season.
He is. I
British
just picked
trusty
him
Aston
up.
Martin. So he did really well qualifying last week, but whether he can carry that same momentum for qualifying tonight.
So is pink wheel rims bringing him around the last corner now. Oh, he's got super tight on the exit of the final turn. What will this do? Oh my goodness. 2/10 exactly down on Vermeulen, so he will start side by side with Vermeulen for race 1. We do have another car going around though, car 34 of Popisil. I hope he knows he's not allowed to set another lap. Keep an eye on him. Certainly the admins will. No amount of fancy livery will save you from the admins if you want to set this lap. Then again, it's probably not a bad time to practice the pit entry. The pit entry here being one of the most difficult I've ever seen. Especially if you're trying to save time at all. Oh, as he gets a huge tank slapper coming around Blanchimont.
I mean, is this lap going to be allowed?
I mean, if he sets it, I think he gets... Oh, he's pulled into the pits. And a very clean pit entry, may I add. So there you have it, everybody. The top 7 dominated by the Pro Tier drivers, as you might expect. as Mr. Brown does pat Popsil on the back for doing as instructed. So P1, who did you expect? Mr. Vermeulen back on top, followed by Leica, Rashidov, Travaglioli, Fernandez, Prentice, and then Grace. Naisbitt gapping a few of his competitors in the silver tier, sticking at P8, with Sharp and Clayton splitting him from G. Brown in P11, then Sharp, P12, Grafe, P13, J. Prentice in P14, Harvey, P15, Popsil on your screen, P16, then Richings in P17. The AM tier pole goes to Kalugin, who puts Jablonski between him and Visser. Gedman, P21, Jabino, 22, Colpitz, 23, Uta Heymans, P24, Serpentine, P25. P3 in the AM tier goes to Trotman, who splits himself with Dorans from Coppens, and Thacker, Legovic, who I don't really think really got a time together, followed by De Wilt, Townsend, Felix, Van der Waal, Rogers, Dreadlock Steve, Handy, Chesmakov, Eden, Friedman, and Kokomalakis elected or were unable to set a time. So now we wait for race 1 of round 2 in the Super Sprint Sunday Series. Now, the Super Sprint Sunday Series isn't the only thing FRL is great for. It's good for all forms of racing, both on ACC, Assetto Corsa, Formula 1, Gran Turismo, WRC, anything that's online and you can race it with other people. FRL has got you covered almost every single day of the week. Most of our races are streamed, like this one here. So even if you're just enjoying watching us for now, you can choose to get involved if you very so wish. Drop a comment in the YouTube stream, and an admin will reach out to you with a link to the Discord and SimGrid if necessary. If you're already
Further that, are you going to do it or am I going to do it?
You can do it. Go on.
Yeah, no, cool. Furthermore, just to save little Greg's lungs, I'm going to introduce a Patreon service. As little as £3 a month, you can get involved with absolute fantastic perks, behind the scenes knowledge and information. I mean, you get to know more than us. I mean, we sit here commentating over you fantastic guys for a couple of hours on a Sunday evening, and you know more than us. I mean, what more do you want? You get great benefits, a special server to practice in before your race is due. You get to reserve your race number as well if it means something special to you. And we are just about to line up on the grid, but the Patreon service does start as little as £3 a month.
10p a day.
It's just a coffee a month, really.
Yeah.
And you can be respected and well noticed within the community as a Patreon member. You do get access to a ton of mega benefits.
I mean, I wanted to do that Patreon server the other day. I was thinking, I need my spa practice because I'm doing shocking around here. And I said, please, 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 can I join? Can I have some practice? And they went, no, you're not special enough. You're not a Patreon member. Brown slapped me right down.
So even a commentator, we don't get access to that special server, which is a good thing, because if you tuned in last week or tuned in for Taco Tuesday, you'd have seen Greg's driving around Silverstone, and you don't want that danger on your practice server, which is a good thing. It keeps the bad driving out.
I totally didn't go backwards through Chapel. One of the many incidents that wasn't actually reported. Thank God. Anyway, it looks like we are going to get a full formation lap of this very, very long track. So we've still got plenty of time. So JPTV says, I signed up to Patreon, but nobody ever contacted me. Ooh, okay. Well, let's make sure that's corrected. Brown, anybody? Gedman, if you're watching, somebody reach out to JPTV. He, as a Patreon member, he should be rewarded for his commitment and contributions to the league. There you go. You've had it.
Contributions to the league, and the league absolute specialty of Super Sprint Sunday bingo. Absolutely should.
Absolutely should. So this is race 1. For those of you that aren't familiar with what happened in race 1, we do have to reset the server between race 1 and race 2 for the reverse grid. So do not be alarmed when I inevitably start looking like I'm about to shut down the game. It's all fine. It's all underhand. Owen's not going to be left here in the darkness wondering what the hell's going on.
I mean, I hope I paid my electric bill. It gets dark in here.
It gets dark in here too. No, it doesn't get quiet though. There's a fair going on down the road from me at the moment, so I'm not getting much sleep. But Vermeulen looks well rested doing those sorts of times, so we're going to see how quickly he can leave this grid for dead. But it's pretty difficult in the Spa because the first interaction you have after green flags are thrown is a long run all the way down to Lake Coombe. It's basically flat out from the first corner all the way down to turn 4. And that is something that even a mighty Vermeulen might not be able to fight against in terms of slipstream and the grunt of that Mustang.
Well, we never know, buddy, but say Super Sprint Sunday Series, no pit stop is required because it is a sprint and not an endurance. There is no Luigi tyre changes in the pit lane or anything like that. It is just a straight all-out brawl for 20 minutes. Like you say, race 2, 40-minute reverse grid, so it's definitely going to get spicy as the night does go on. But if you are interested, I think I did just check the calendar very quickly. Next week we are going to land down under next week.
Ooh. Oh, as they are off and away. I completely misjudged the start line. It is different. So Vermeulen goes off. So he doesn't quite defend quite as long, but we already have Leica looking for the slipstream on Vermeulen.
Oh, big carnage already. Big carnage, big carnage. See at least 7-8 cars towards the back there.
Sorry, Retro, we've got Leica looking for a move round the outside of Vermeulen. He's got it, he's got the inside into the second part of Lake Coombe. He's over the curb. Vermeulen goes deep. Leica's got it, but Vermeulen still kept his nose in. Leica goes off track. The Aston Martin of Rashidov likes the look of this as well. Vermeulen goes heavily defensive. Leica just about squeezes in between the Aston Martin, but then it's back on the inside. Vermeulen has gone deep. Vermeulen then gets slightly ahead back into the corner of No Name, but goes deep again. This is huge defending that Vermeulen's got to do. Leica on the grass trying to enter Pouon.
That's an interesting line to Pouon that I've seen.
But like I said, Vermeulen in isolation, fantastically fast on this racetrack. But when he's out there punching a hole for the cars behind him, he's giving a massive benefit. These cars have got a massive run. Leica is absolutely on him. About 3 or 4 times there, Leica got his nose ahead, and he is really stuck onto the back of Vermeulen now. Vermeulen does seem to have settled down, so in a moment we'll go to some of the battles. But then Vermeulen's gone deep. That will probably be track limits. He definitely would have gained time there. Vermeulen under pressure early on. Further down, I can see that Sharp is close on Naisbit, trying to get closer to the next battle in the Pro Tier, but doesn't look like it's happening just yet. Picks up Serpentine, who's having to defend from Thacker through Blanchimont.
Missed his brakes there for the bus stop chicane there. He had to cut the corner. Ooh, Leica's not happy. Leica's flashing him.
So enjoy it while it lasts, guys. Vermeulen giving a fight to be had in these early stages.
So slightly further back than that, we do have Naisbit and Grace going at it into turn one. I think Grace does get a better drive out.
But Grace has got no slipstream ahead of him. Purely relying on the BMW grunt. Oh, we have a car sideways.
Car 41, Travaggioli.
He does have space to rejoin. Leica and Vermeulen really starting to gap those behind. God, I've missed Leica.
Oh, Grace has gone off. Grace and the Ferrari have gone off.
Is that Naisbit? And that is Brown through. Brown up into P8 in the Lamborghini. Just picked up Richings as well, closing in on Harvey. I think Sharp, that timing's a bit deceptive. He has become detached. Or at least no, he's ahead of Brown here, and actually by some way. There's a timing screens update. And Vermeulen is starting to pull this gap now.
We've got a lovely bit of side-by-side from Grafe and Clayton there in the GTR and the Aston Martin. No driver backing out, fighting for P11 there. Oh, we had Grace there in the back.
So a few cars going 2 by 2 through the campus corners. As the Aston Martin behind Apprentice going a bit deep, and that's allowed the BMW of Grace to get a bit of pace on him. There's not much space around the outside of Blanchimont, but he might try it. Takes a wider line. Oh, and Prentice goes deep and then manages to regain the car again and pulls back to the inside. I don't think Grace is going to be happy about that. Grace in the BMW tries to go deep. Going to try and cut back. No, can't. Prentice gets back ahead. Now side by side, Richings and Harvey. Harvey in the Aston Martin. Goes to the inside of La Source.
Richards goes very deep there, nearly invited Gedman in.
Now gets a great slingshot though out of La Source. So it's going to be interesting as they approach Pouon. And behind them we've got Gedman and Kalugin in the Porsches heading up the hill. Oh,
Gedman, no! Ooh.
There's a big snapper but regains it. There should be easy pickings for Kalugin now. But that battle we had ahead. So many cars going side by side. The two Porsches. Klugin looking to the outside, but he's a bit too far behind to throw it round.
So a great recovery from Gedman there.
And Townsend looks like he's really been in the wars. Left side of his pink car all scratched up.
Interesting to see, flicking through the pack, Leica is still taking the same line into Pouon on the grass.
It's not helped in that time. That'll be an invalidation on the outside. Naisbit does seem to be closing in on Sharp. This is a battle between Brown, Sharp and Naisbit for the podium positions in the silver tier. You can spot it on your map just below. They have separated themselves from Sharp behind. Sharp in front, sorry. I've picked up Kalugin again on the rear of Gedman. This one isn't going away. Kalugin Doesn't really need to push that hard here. He does have a good buffer of both Silver and...
Just behind, we got Friedman flashing Serpentine there. Whether he's trying to flash him to pass him, but there's no tier structure for passing. There is an overall championship, so he's got every right to fight him. Look at Travaglioli behind, gets a big touch on the grass there. Big send from Friedman.
Friedman, another one. Looks like he's been in the wars a bit so far. Two cars that are usually quite happy being at the front. Travaglioli showing his intent, looks for the inside, breaks a little bit later into La Source. Goes a little bit deep, then finds a traction on the outside. Good move.
Further ahead, we've got Kalugan and Gedman still going at it. This time, Gedman doesn't have a big tank slapper on the curb there. Kalugan's a lot closer this time.
But crucially, he doesn't have the slipstream either. Kalugan moves to the inside. Immediately loses the slipstream. You've almost got to bump draft people down the straight if you want a chance of actually making a move. Doran must have made a mistake. He went from a few tenths down to a second and a bit. And Handley almost pushing Townsend along. He's under a lot of pressure from behind. He's got the Ferrari of Heymans and the McLaren of Van der Waal pushing him on. And Heymans had a little look into Rivage. Heymans goes off track to defend from Van der Waal there. Van der Waal not having any of it. He's coming back into Pouon. Oh, as I think Kalugan has just been overtaken. Red Ferrari, has they just overtaken both of them? It's Travaglioli just pushing through.
So there is no reason for these drivers to move out the way.
Other than their own self-interest. So Friedman past Serpentine, and then Kalugan has fallen behind them. You have to bear with us, guys. The timing screens in Spa are very far apart, so we don't get the updates for about a minute at a time.
Flicking through the pack, we've still got Clayton hanging on to the back of Naisbitt. Very committed there for a Rouge from Clayton.
So the Aston's so long it doesn't look like it should agree with Eau Rouge. But it does, it looks planted.
Oh, slightly further down, we've got Handley on Townsend, pretty much pushing the McLaren down the straight, battling for P25. I don't think Handley's quite got the slipstream. He's going to go big on the brakes down the inside. I think Townsend saw that coming, but he's now vulnerable to Heymans behind.
And hey, yeah, Heymans looks like he's going to have a move into Rivage now. What's he got on the brakes? Oh, close to touching there. On the exit Rivage, looks like Heymans got the number. Townsend's going to send it. Handley's going to send it again. No. Townsend. Townsend's still there on the outside. What's the commitment through Pouon? Has the duck in behind. So there's now Bentley of Jablonski on the case. I can't help but notice that Rogers, also in the Mustang, also taking grass on the entry into Pouon.
Hey,
the Mustang,
just a Mustang thing.
Just a Mustang thing.
But slightly further up the field, we do have D. Fernandez still hanging on to Rashidov, just under half a second. as we've got 8.5 minutes left.
So he's taking a bit of an alternate line through the source, and he exits. And what can this do for him? The Aston Martin is one of the fastest cars in the game, not so much in power, but in lightness. It's quite zippy. But as they're travelling alone at the moment, can the Ferrari pick up any slipstream from Rashidov to try and move himself up into the podium positions? Now, there's not much chance of a move here, but this is just free speed it will get through here.
Speaking of free speed, we've got Naisbitt and Sharp going into a very big, big move from Naisbitt there.
Oh, and then he tapped Sharp wide.
It's going to invite Clayton right into the mix there, round the outside.
Oh, and he's not happy about it.
Licking his lips at this, currently leading the silver tier at the moment, increasing his gap. Oh, there's a car stopped on track. Who is that? Car 25. Fernandez. What happened to him? He's going to tumble down the order now. Got Naisbitt right on his heels.
Naisbitt is carrying more speed, but Fernandez is gaining speed all the time. Do wonder if he went a bit deep into no-name corner. Didn't you used to call that fisherman's hut?
No, that is the right-hander in sector 3, the fast right-hander before you get to number 1, number 2 corner, just before the bus stop chicane. I always forget the name of that. But speaking of...
Oh, sorry, Clayton's just trying to throw one around the outside of Naisbitt. Unsuccessful. But he's going to come back. Jumps up the field to Sharp. He's picking on another Aston Martin.
That was what I was going to say. Interesting lines from both drivers into the source. Aston Martin versus McLaren there.
The Aston Martin's looking mighty up the source here. But in this fight, Brown
is still catching.
He's catching, absolutely. I can take good promise from this for Tuesday.
You can't get Brown to drive for you, buddy.
Comms payments coming.
But speaking of payments, we've got Harvey now under threat from Popsiville. Sorry, Popsiville.
Oh, Harvey had to cut. Les come. Yeah, Popsiville is through.
And behind that, we've got Friedman and Richings. Friedman trying to dive down the inside. Richings giving him too much space there. Friedman sticks his car in front, gets a bit of a whippersnapper on the exit there.
Porsche goes a bit deep. I'm surprised we've not seen more track limit violations come through. Somebody's taking an awful lot of grass into the inside of Pouon. Didn't quite catch that on the camera. Who's that? Who's causing quite a train? 911.
That is Doran Oakenshield being a shield.
Amazing defence. But he's got a lot of work to do. He's got Handy behind him, Heymans and Van der Waal as well. So the man has got quite a train forming and a lot of work to do to see out these last 4 minutes.
That car might have been Mr. Thacker, number 7, because he dropped quite a few places from the last timing update to this one.
Now picked up Clayton again on Naisbitt. Naisbitt doing good.
Struggle from Thacker there. think Thacker is struggling.
Interesting battle developing P7, 8 and 9. But it seems pretty stabilised at the moment, so we're going to jump down the grid. Pick up Czech Masov. Flying through Eau Rouge. I think almost invalid. He must have been invalid going up Eau Rouge there. But he's using the speed nonetheless. He's moved to the outside of Serpentine. What can the Beamer do? Can he get late on the brakes until they come?
Great defending from Serpentine there, made him work for it.
Yeah, just shepherd him. It's outside. Chitmakov's not happy about it, but I think it was all okay. Just chose not to yield the corner, Serpentine, and that's all fine. Now picks up Handley. He's got Haymans in front, and Doran just behind. Doran clearly starting to bleed positions here, but Doran then throws it back to the inside. Handley left the door open momentarily. And Doran goes to the outside of Puon. Is Handley giving up the position? Doesn't seem it, otherwise they'd let go much earlier into Puon there. Doran trying it all the way around the outside. Eventually has to travel a bit too far. Townsend behind in a right kerfuffle.
There we have it from race control. Leader on final lap.
Thacker goes deep. Townsend around the outside. Townsend on the outside again. And makes that one up. Momentary error from Thacker there. What about Rogers? Can Rogers capitalise on this too? Thacker has been compromised on his speed, and the Mustang has the grunt to do something about it. Will there be a late dive into the bus stop? There's only one lap remaining after this one. Maybe Thacker's the one to make the move.
Farther down, buddy, we've got Grace and Prentice there, and a three-way little battle there just after turn one. Prentice nearly did get a good run out of Grace at turn one, but interesting to see who's going to get the grunt down straight this lap.
And I think that's Grace. GTR goes defensive of Grace. Grace flicks back to the outside. Grace follows him, defends the position. Has he compromised himself through Lecombe? Regains it, if he did. Oh, but then Grace goes wide. What does that mean for Prentice? Can Prentice stick his nose down the inside? For Rivage, he's going to throw his nose there. Will there be a touch? A small one, but nothing too damaging. But then Grace then has to go defensive to Popsill on his rear. Front facing battles.
Further down we've got Doran and Handley still going at it.
So we've got Sharp chasing down Prentice all the way to the line. This is for P4. The two sets of brothers, the Prentices and the Sharps, fighting all the way to the line. We're going to quickly flick to Bermudan to give his win. There he goes. And Leica comes around the bend as well. Rashidov in P3. But Prentice has got something to defend here. Marginally deep into the bus stop chicane. But I don't think that matters. Sharp also didn't get a great drive out of it. But then fights Prentice to the line. Brown takes a silver win. Followed by Naisbitt. Then Clayton in P8. And then a P3 in the silver tier for Sharp.
Oh, very to the line. Prentice and Grafe. Look how close that one was to the line.
Oof. Chesmakov chasing Serpentine to the line.
Handley and Doran still going at it towards the line.
Oh, Doran's got a drive!
Traction zone. Oh, not quite. Even closer.
Oh my goodness. Tight times happening all around. We start to flatten out here as we head towards the back of the pack. Jabinho not seemingly getting along with his NSX in this race. But we didn't spot it. But Townsend got the AM tier win, so well done to him. And Felix, the last driver to finish on the lead lap, comes home in P36. So there you have it, guys. There's your rundown. I'm just going to quickly grab a replay for my own self-indulgence. Well done, Townsend. Well done, Vermeulen, and well done, Brown. Impressive racing all around. So as previously mentioned, everybody, we are going to take a small interlude and just quit out to the menu while they sort out the reverse grid. So don't go anywhere unless you're grabbing a drink or a sandwich or your Sunday dinner, but come back, watch in front of the screen with your boys, Greg and Owen. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I mean, it didn't seem like we had drama at the start and drama at the end.
Well, it's definitely going to see who was responsible for a rouge on that start and lap. I didn't quite catch all of it, but I could have easily accounted more cars.
We can
not
have a
driving
look
forward. I mean, I mean, if we've got time.
In our interlude, we can have a look. Just keep an eye on the server for me. So if we go, we know who we're looking at. Let's get a helicam. I think it'll be one of the drivers towards the back, probably, I imagine. Just go forward a little bit. Should be going very soon. So off they go. I mean, there's a bit of a gap here. You can see ahead, there's a lot of bunching up. Ooh, okay, it's a bit further ahead.
That Bentley. Who was the Bentley?
Was it Visser?
No, I think that without pointing fingers, I think the Bentley was
Jablonski. So we're still on board with Jablonski. Brakes early. Oh, I think he just runs into the back of Kalugin and then gets tapped in the rear. So there you have it. So Kalugin goes into the back of Visser and then gets tapped, and then everybody's just there avoiding Jablonski. So yeah, we can dissect that further later, but for now, yeah, it looks like few drivers. It's just a bit of concertinaing up Eau Rouge, and then before you knew it, people are backing up and backing up and backing up. We got plenty of it, Leica. You can watch it in the stream afterwards. You don't need to worry. But we need to get.
There's always a man that always has too much time in the spotlight. Is definitely Mr. Leica.
So we're just waiting for this session to reset, which I think we have done now.
Should have server 2 is live, which it is.
As we look to rejoin.
Green light, show them what you got.
Now we just need to jump into replay mode to get our favoured camera. think that's the one. I think that's the camera I had, so that's good. Cameras are important. Helps us see, helps you see. But yeah, great race one. It seemed like we had a lot of drama early on, a few isolated battles to the mid part of the race, and then it all came together towards the end. Obviously, a fantastic fight to see at the beginning. Leica really kept Vermeulen honest. I think eventually, once Leica fell off, given the pressure to Vermeulen, he finally stopped cracking and just got cracking with his laps. Pardon the pun. So, if anybody in the comments has got any anticipation or predictions for race 2, let us hear them. We'll read them out, as many as we can, for as quickly as I can read them. So yeah, really interesting race 1. It seemed like most people, towards the front at least, finished from where they started. But obviously that mid-pack calamity on the first corner really threw a spanner into the works. Do we expect those starting at the back to make as much progress as they did last week?
I don't know, buddy. I mean, Spa, as beautiful as it isn't as, I think, adventurous as Silverstone making overtakes. I mean, yes, it is, but realistically, you're going to have to put a lot of trust into all drivers if starting from the reverse of the grid. So no disrespect to any driver, but at Spa, the walls are a lot closer than Silverstone, and they do close in from time to time.
As Morgan Gray says, don't highlight Dan Townsend, I presume he murdered me in Lake Hum. Oh, tell it to the stewards.
I think if you're watching that, Grace, I mean, you should have put a bit more of a masterclass on, mate. I don't think you had the facilities for that, big man. But I think I caught the end of it. I watched you two go down the straight as soon as you got to the corner. But I think that's afterwards. I flicked back to it and I saw you both having a bit of a mare off track. As I see G Brown facing the wrong way down the pit lane.
If you can drop us a lap, we'll definitely look back at it in the replay. And we won't feed anything back to you, but oh, Naisbit. Oh, okay. We're sorry, Townsend.
Welsh friendly
We're
fire.
sorry. He only gave us a first name. I don't even know your first names. You are initials on the left-hand side.
Well, what do you expect? It's either going to be a white and pink liveried Sky Ferrari, or not so purple, not so pink-ish Ferrari. Or McLaren.
You're expecting me to remember a lot there to get that right. But yeah, I mean, if you tell us what lap, we'll watch it back afterwards for our own entertainment. You may not hear any feedback from us, but Dazza. Sorry. Am I wrongly assuming Dan? I'm assuming Daz is a nickname. Or is your name actually Dazza?
Yeah, it's Big Daz, isn't it?
Big Daz!
Big Dave.
Can't be a Dave. Macca. Don't know what that's meant to mean. I'm not down with the kids.
I mean, if you're down with the kids, you know, in the night garden, Macca Packa.
Ah, I knew a Packer racer once, and they weren't friendly. Darren, good reliable. Do you bring my
Danger Darren.
Do you bring my DPD parcels? We trust in Darren. He's a good.
Did you
He's
leave
always.
it a safe place?
He does. He does. Every single time, doesn't it? He rings the doorbell, drops it in the safe place, and buggers off. Really quick, really efficient. So, and I see Townsend drives roughly the same. So, it could be. We don't know. But now we see Jablonski is going to lead us off here. The man who got caught up in the first corner dramas of last race is now going to lead the pack. Not C. Leechka. Ah.
Well, we do apologise for that, buddy. I mean, if you don't correct us, we might always say it wrong, so we do appreciate you guys telling us how to correctly pronounce your name so we don't butcher it for an entire season.
I mean, there's been some drivers that haven't piped up and we've caused immeasurable harm to their self-confidence. So, there is a line you can call. It's not associated with the league, but you can call it if you're... Then why the extra E if I've got to shorten it? I'm so confused. Lichka?
Uh-oh. We have a... Just so you're aware from Naisbit. Uh-oh. Morgan Grace's nameplate is BAH!
I can't see the rest of that message. It cuts off on the PlayStation.
Here's an unhealthy affection for sheep. Yep. Oh, that's quality.
Oh. You're pulling the wool over his eyes.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can all flock together down the
Yeah.
Rouge this time.
Yeah. Hook him like Bo Peep.
Interesting story. So we've got a sheepman, a cricketer, a tennis ball yellow Porsche, a racer that punches marshals, a guy from The Hobbit. This is great. A bit of story time.
It's just the West Country. All drivers from the West Country. Anyone notice that the track map looks like an Uzi? I mean...
I can't unsee that now.
Yeah. Just say hello to my little friend.
30 seconds.
Oh, quality. I need to watch that again.
No chance of me slipping into the pits. Were you shepherded by one of the Welshmen into the pits?
Stood on the entrance. Come hither.
He's like, oh crap, I've got to park up and get a Mother's Day present.
That's it. Lassie has shepherded one of the drivers into the pit lane for a beating.
Just notice we are missing somebody on the grid there. Who is that? In P5 it would be. Jabino's there. So Jablonski is now leading them away. We're hoping that people have got patience. Reverse grids. There's always the criticism that they do cause drama as the fast drivers. A large amount of them trying to overtake a large amount of slower drivers can cause drama.
To be honest, Mr. Brown, Honda in the top 10 going to clear the way. I'd worry less about the Honda, buddy. That is behind you now. You have a win in the Lambo already.
What are you trying to say about the missile Jabino? Really? As we are, go, go, go. Jablonski puts his foot to the floor. He's going to use that Bentley grunt. Clean a run as possible. There's no back. Oh, we do have collisions in the back. But so far, clean and through. I did see a tap coming up. What was further back? We've got so much. Look at that sea of cars. I couldn't.
Relatively clean this time round.
As Dreadlock Steve throws a move on Jabino. Jabino sent to the curb on the inside, but then Dreadlock Steve is having to give up space to Eden in the Aston Martin on the outside, but he's regained that space. Eden down the outside.
Sharp has just been spun by Lichka. Oh, big smash, big smash, big smash. GTR Ferrari into Brussels sprout corner, as I call it.
They seem to still be going. Side by side goes Van der Waal and Hanley into Pouon. I think I've said that in the last race. With an Aston Martin in tow. I believe that's Harvey. Van der Waal got a lot of defending to do here.
Newland is mixing through some of the pack already. We're going to get a first good sighting of where he's going to be into the timing line.
Oh, it's a big smash in the back. 242. That's Naisbit. Got all mixed up in the wrong stuff.
Oh, the Mustang and another Ferrari is off.
So Vermeulen up to P25 does seem pretty clean. Now Richings, you can see Grace ahead going wide at Blanchimont. And there's, oh my god, there's a lot of cars off at Blanchimont. As we have the Aston Martin of Harvey. Takes it across and then back on the racetrack and then in front. Oh no, absolutely decimated. Guys, show a bit of patience.
Oh, there's a car stopped on track directly in the middle. That is Mr. Van der Waal doing the best he could to avoid the carnage.
Get him away from that Marshall post. Get him away from that Marshall post. So as Jablonski has just cut Eau Rouge, now goes deep, now letting Legovic through. Still got a bit of work to do, does Legovic. Bentley Grunt can still push on. Ooh, as Jablonski does attempt it. And has to do.
This sneaky devil. Gedman has changed his car colour in between the servers.
See light. So we've been up to P21, but he's going to have a long jog around the outside.
Further back.
Around Friedman, and then he's going to take another one. Oh, as Vermeulen gets tapped, and Vermeulen's round, Vermeulen's in the wall and backwards into Rivage. Not sure how much of that was self-inflicted. He did come a little bit wide off the curb, but he's back in now. Car looks just about drivable, but he's now got a lot more work to do. Even on the timing screens, we're quite close to Jabino, but Jabino does seem to be gapping that little bit.
They did a big closing on the brakes there. Rashidov trying to chase down Grace. The P16 there.
So I've just got Handley trying to overtake the McLaren of Townsend. Townsend does get a better exit. Both cars go off track this time.
Gedman's there. Grace is there as well. Sorry, Chekmasov's there. Same colour as Grace, not quite.
As uncommon. Mr. Veldman's here. Nice to have you here. You've joined at quite a special time. Cars taking a lot of risks this race.
The brakes there.
Oh, very well done for that gaggle of cars there, getting through the bus stop without any contact. Now Trabigioli down the inside. Will he attempt one? Will he get two?
Grace round the outside. Oh, a bit wide.
So Trabigioli's got one hell of a scenario to navigate here. He's closed in on all sides.
BMW boat train. Oh,
he elects to back out. He has the lift. This is going to invite the Aston Martin of Rashidov. And Rashidov gets a big slap over and rejoins behind Townsend. He taps. Oh my god, they're still with us. They're still going straight.
Richins, GG. Very
How
well
did he
held.
hold that catch of the season so far? And then Grace gets tapped.
Is that a Bentley? It is. Jablonski was up in the lead and has lost it.
He lost it a while ago to P2, but now he's right down in the pack.
Yeah, I think he made a big mistake there into Lacombe.
this
That
battle
does
in the mid.
promote Colpitts to the lead.
And Grace in the midfield, chasing down Chetmakov in the port. Oh, no, that's a portion of Gedman. So Gedman's ahead of Grace right now. And if you go on board with Travaglioli, who's even ahead of them. So these timing screens might as well be upside down. I mean, they are from last race, but a different infliction. Now we're in the second race.
Not quite sure what I've seen from Vermeulen, but he's dropped right down to P34 there. I think he's just limping this one home.
He must be anticipating further drama for a chance to fight other broken cars. Travaglioli is going to send one into the bus stop on the Porsche of Gedman.
Oh, interesting to see. We've got Eden trying to chase down Gabino down to turn 1.
So Travaglioli still there, still side by side. Friedman behind. They're going to try and pick something out. Friedman around the outside of Travaglioli. Has to go off track. Oh, is that classed as an illegal overtake? He was well off the track to make that.
Oh, Gabino's in the wall. Gabino's in the wall at the top of a Rouge.
Well, they've got a group about to go through it.
Got Kalugin trying to overtake Visser. Then Eden right in the mix there, getting double overtaken there. 3 wide into Lacombe. Oh no, look at this. Who was that? Straight down the inside. Dreadlock Steve. What a move.
Oh, as we've got a car offside on the inside, Lacombe, that's Kalugin rejoining. Chemakov has done very well to slice through there. And he's still got this battle with the Ferrari ahead of him. I believe that's Handley. Taps him into Rivage. No, it can't be Handley. He's in a white livery. Who is that? Timing screens causing absolute chaos.
Handley is the red and yellow Ferrari in front. Felix is behind. So Handley has overtaken Felix.
And it looks like Eden. It's Kalugin. So Kalugin, yeah, Kalugin fallen right down into the pack. He was P3 last sector, but has dropped way back now. So waiting for some corrective timings, guys. I do apologise. So Gedman.
The white Ferrari is Visser there.
So in terms of battles, Leaker is putting the fastest lap. Is up in P22, several positions ahead of Vermeulen. But he goes a little bit deep, Gedman, and has to defend from Richings behind. But the defensive line was sufficient at this time. But that's invited Prentice to have a look into La Source. But he's dropped back in the straight.
We've got Townsend trying to fight Friedman. I think Friedman. Oh, bit of a touch there for P10. Out of the source once again. We've got Jablonski and Grace. 2 big barges of machinery going into Rouge.
Oh, as Townsend didn't get the best exit out of Rouge there. Had to catch it going up the hill.
Oh, look at the Aston Martin. That's naughty.
Takes a bit of the grass, did he?
He did. Helicopter got obstructed by a tree, but I knew he cut the corner there.
The Aston Martin of Rashidov goes down the inside. I think Townsend can count his lucky stars. That's the only position he lost down that straight. Now Grace seizes an opportunity, shows his nose to the inside. Townsend gives him the space, goes a little bit deep. And now Jablonski, the pole sitter from the reverse grid, now finds himself fighting over these positions.
Slightly further ahead.
Oh, no, further back,
Visser
Richings has got Prentice. No, he's all over the back of Prentice, going through Puon. Yeah, Prentice looks like he's really struggling. as he comes round Puon. Thinks about a move, does Richings, but no, doesn't do it. Where am I going, Retro?
I don't know, buddy. We're trying our best for the timing screens here.
Oh, so I picked up Friedman.
Is still hanging on to P2 in the AM tier. Sorry, P2 on track, but leading the AM tier by quite a bit. We've got Felix.
Probably about 6 seconds further down the road, isn't he?
Travaglioli has just overtaken Felix for P6, but slightly behind that, you've got Friedman and Chekmasov going out into the bus stop chicane. Big on the brakes from Friedman there.
Chekmasov, I think, has compromised himself, going defensive, and a little tap as Friedman goes through. And then that has let
Rashidov as well.
Rashidov in the Aston Martin. So, Chekmakov loses 2
Grace
positions.
And Townsend into turn 1. Grace big on the inside. Getting a good drive, Grace. There's that masterclass we were talking about.
So I picked up Kalugin on the back of Jablonski. Jablonski has been bleeding position since the start. Kalugin in the underpowered Porsche to the Bentley. What can he do down this straight with a bit of slipstream? But it does look like Jablonski, with that grunt, is closing in on the back of Townsend. As he does go for a move into Lecum. Big move on the brakes. Gets a little tap to his rear for his troubles, but he has kept that one.
They're just flicking through the pack there. I did see a good move from Lichka there on Gedman in the Porsche. Move done and dusted there.
Seeing that Felix is being pressured by the BMW behind him. That's Chekmakov. So yeah, really emphasising the great job the Dreadlock team's been doing, holding on to that P2 in class, well, P1 in class, P2 on the track. Rashid just moving away from them. Visser and Grace joining this as well. As I see further down, Brown picking up the fastest lap in the Lamborghini. Finishing the top 10 last race, but saying good times, but maybe could do with a few more positions under his belt to make this outing worthwhile. He's lining up sharp as I go through Blanchimont.
Currently is a 218.6. Oh, Travaglioli has just taken that.
So it looks like Sharp has gone a little deep.
A 217.3.
And Brown gets a great drive back on the inside now, becoming the outside full of sauce. What can he attempt? As we do have a drive-through, first one of the evening for Van der Waal. He'll have plenty of time to get out of his car and talk to a marshal. Oh, that's Jablonski round, and that means Brown has to avoid, and he loses a lot of time to his competitors there.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Loses 2 positions.
And Handley down the straight. Side by side now. Silver versus Pro.
Ferrari versus Ferrari, red versus red. It looks like Travaglioli has that one covered.
Still once again, the Mustang fighting its way through it. Richins taking an experimental line through Lecum there. So big pile up of drivers there. Nearly 3 wide into the Brussels sprout there. Sharp trying to make a move on Gedman, which I think he does.
So Lichka making good progress here. He has had to come all the way from second to the back, and he's now up in P13.
It wasn't quite second to the back.
Plus
there was a couple of cars that didn't finish for the race, so obviously they got in the mix. But say last 3 cars, I think they was in the last 5. Jazzman and Lichka there.
But Lichka now up into P13 on track. And now he's got Townsend for company ahead of him. As they're going to head through campus. And let's see if this Mustang grunt can make a meal out of the McLaren. McLaren does seem to be struggling. Lichka does seem to have a lot more confidence in the car. Townsend sending him over the white line. Oh, is Lichka... Oh my... he sends Townsend into the Shadow Realm.
Just need to insert the cutscene from Dark Souls.
Oh my word.
Died. Oh, look at the rejoin,
Townsend.
look at the rejoin. Oh no.
As he then attempts to take the corner. Surely elects to go into the pits. Yes, he does. Seemingly has a lot of steering damage. Both drivers seemingly heavily committed to the turn. Not sure how much Lichka opened his steering, but I'm sure it'll be looked at after in the stewards. But I picked up Travaggioli in P5 with the fastest lap, looking to go around the outside of Eden.
Just trying to break the slipstream.
The Aston Martin goes a little deep, misses the corner completely,
Very deep.
and loses multiple positions in the process. That is both throws through, and then potentially a Porsche as well. That's Friedman, but he's caught up behind the back of Hanley. We've got to make it stick. Now that's cost him an overtake, but if he can fight it through on the inside here, he might just take it. Yes, he does. But Friedman looks like he's got a lot of speed to use, stuck up behind Hanley. Travaggioli has disappeared down the road, so now he might have the space to do the overtake.
Well, that does promote Handley to P3 in tier.
I've just noticed Dreadlock Steve has finally lost that P2 spot. Rogers has come through and taken it from him. But, it looks like Handley is holding up this group now. And behind the two Aston Martins. Concentrate on driving. Lichka in the comments. How these people do it is beyond me. But Friedman on Hanley. It's a long way to go around the outside. Let's not have a repeat of Lichka and Townsend. He backs out. Heads back to the inside, which then becomes the outside. Oh, but then Handley has to shoot it over the final turn. Where does he rejoin? Handley comes in ahead, but Friedman is going to have the drive to take this position, and he's going to fight it all the way.
Handley was going to give that position, so he couldn't have not cut the corner like that. He knew it was wrong.
Now, shortly behind that, Rashidov and Eden. Two Astons locked for the fight for P3 in the Pro Tier. Rashidov did start further back, donating that he did better in race 1. Flicks to the outside. Potentially running a little bit less downforce, but they are neck and neck. But it looks like Rashidov is more confident on the brakes. Mention it to the stewards, guys.
I think I do see.
Oh, is it number 9 has got a drive through. Who is that? Number 9? That is Townsend. It's 30 seconds stop and go. It just goes from bad to worse for Townsend.
Ooh.
And just
I
seeing
saw a bit of a moment from Sharp and Brown there.
Just seeing Yablonski still the next day. He's got Doran to his outside.
We're halfway through, not over yet.
As in, we've still got a further 20 minutes of this to go. There's been so much action. Your race leader now, Colpitts, with a humongous lead. He's doing fantastically well to hold that. Oh, as Yablonski now goes off. Oh no, who was that? No, that wasn't. Who was that? Just. I saw a random white car just decide to exit life.
Car number 19 is Jabino. I saw down the straight. But speaking of down the straights, we've got Mr. Brown trying to come at Felix. He does overtake him. Felix is P2 in the AMs here. So quite a few cars between him and Mr. Dreadlock Steve, so he's going to be well and truly happy.
As
with
Brown
that gap
watches
in a
Gedman take a lot of the exit of Lonchimont. And now he'll become his priority. Admin versus admin.
Oh, it's Jazzman facing the wrong way on the final corner there. I think he's just trying to soldier on with damage there, but I think he does finally return to the pits. No, he's still going. Oh, he's on track. Oh no, that's dangerous.
So Newland
Quite a
having
few
an
cars
absolute
have
torrid
made it
time.
back to the pit lane.
As I go forward to Popsill, lining up Visser, the Rouge.
Sorry, buddy. We've got G Brown and Gedman into Lacombe. G Brown switches to the inside, trying to go around Gedman. Quite enough. Gedman does fend him off.
Might be slow in the next turn though. Look how much Brown's closing up. Is there a movement to the inside of Rivage? Shows his nose. Gedman gives him the space initially, but then gets his nose fully ahead. Then draws alongside, does Brown into No Name. Here's the ideal line to attack Puon. But now Gedman regains some speed. There's 909.
909.
That's Jablonski. Oh, as Brown gets a bit of a snap through Puon, that's not going to help his challenge against Gedman. Let's see, quite a train behind, headed by Thacker. They've got a car amongst them. Lapping traffic. Trying to look at what's going on there. As we've got multiple cars and them going deep. Who is that?
Speaking of going deep, we've got Friedman trying to chase down the Mustang. Big dive into turn one. Not quite. Oh, he does get a drive though. He just spooked the Mustang. So Friedman does move up into P3 there.
But with going a bit deep, there's every chance that Rogers might have found a bit of speed here. He's closing up Eau Rouge.
Well, perks of being in the DRS Mustang. How much speed has he got?
Not quite enough. I don't think he had the best run up Eau Rouge after that good exit. But I've noticed Travaggioli closing hugely on Colpitts. It's only a corner away now. What was a gap of about 6-7 seconds to the next car has now got Colpitts.
Oh, sorry, buddy. We've got Sharp trying to go for a move on Gedman there for P16. Brown has overtaken Gedman, but Sharp was very close at the back of a Rouge there. I think he just lifted slightly. Gedman gets to wipe his brow and just slowly take it in his stride. He does go deep into Lacombe. Sharp is right. Oh, he has a snap there.
Oh. That Brown?
Sharp says thank you very much.
Gedman has to recover. And say
Just
bye to
slightly
Sharp.
behind that, we've got Felix and Prentice going at it. Prentice slips down the inside into something comfy, like the racing line and the apex.
As you watch the Aston Martin apprentice go a little bit deep through No Name corner. But he's got a few corners yet before that opportunity looks possible.
Serpentine and Vermeulen, a very damaged Ferrari going at it with Serpentine. Got the inside of Pill on there.
And that picks up Rashidov, closing in on Rogers. I mean, he's already P3 in class. He can make himself P4 on the road if he makes a successful move in the next lap or two. We still do have 14 minutes left this race, which equates to about 6.5 laps. Oh, as Rashidov really thinks about a move on Rogers there, but has to back out at the last second. But Powerhouse versus Powerhouse about to go up through Eau Rouge for P4 on the road. Aston looking so good up Eau Rouge, and he's already side by side, and he's got it done through Kemmel. Incredible speed from the Aston Martin there. Now he's got Townsend ahead of him, hoping that the back marker will move. Not the most ideal space to do it. Townsend dives over the curb, also not massively ideal.
Travaglioli is now under half a second, practically pushing Colpitt's round.
So this is for the lead. Not per tier, but overall in the race. This is the front of the grid.
Really needs this after a really bad opener for results at Silverstone. He really needs this to take the fight to Jazzman, as he's currently limping around this circuit. He needs to take all the points he can get overall and in class.
So we do expect, even though dominant performances from Jazzman so far, we do expect some of these drivers to be hot on his heels after this reverse race. Travaglioli, we expect, is going to have a low downforce setup, so Blanchimont may well be an opportunity. Right. Colpitts, there's no reason to fight this really. He's got a good buffer still, but drivers with a P1 position, it's like grasping the one ring. You want to keep it even though you know it's bad for you. But Colpitts doing well. He's held it for well over a lap here. Can he nurse this to the end? I mean, he's got a long way to go, 12 minutes left.
Oh, speaking of nursing it, sorry buddy, slightly further down, Lichka is overtaken Chepnasov there. So timing line, 8 thousandths of a second there. He's now got Grace in the other BMW to deal with.
So I'm just going to go back on board with Travaglioli, who's going up Eau Rouge. Now into Kemmel. He's elected for the outside to come out of the slipstream early. And this has pushed them back into Friedman, and Travaglioli, with the pace, has overtaken Colpitts, and now Friedman joins this battle without a moment ado.
Oh, wet stuff.
There's rain. We have rain.
Oh.
For now, and for at least another 5-10 minutes. It's come absolutely nowhere. It's rolled over the hill, and now we have a wet race. Will anybody risk diving into the pits? What an absolute curveball.
246 speed in the pit lane.
That's Trotman in P26. That's going to help promote Vermeulen at the back. So will there be any dives?
Oh, there's someone off track. I didn't quite see who it was. It's Kalugin.
So
off
we're
the
going
track there.
as the drivers definitely are struggling. So we're going to follow. We're going to push back from the front, see if anybody elects to pit. Because it doesn't. It's not light. The track is only reading as greasy. That is possible on slicks.
But there is heavy rain to come. Boy,
Will it become impossible?
Yeah, especially depends on how
So,
quick it dries up as well.
Travaglioli stays out. Friedman out. Colpitt out. Sheedoff
out.
Rogers out.
Out.
Handley.
Townsend goes in.
Grace. Lichka in as well.
Goes in.
Massive gamble from Lichka. Timosov, Steve, Sharp, Prentice, Richings.
Visser is in the wall at Fisherman's Hut Corner.
What about Prentice?
Quit. There's an Aston Martin going down the pit lane.
As we see Felix now elect to pit. from P18.
I don't know, buddy. The track is now identified as damp, but it's going to rain and
Thacker as
ease
well.
off in a couple of minutes. Don't
As
think
he
it's going to
pops
be
Hill
enough, though.
in absolute pieces. Kukumlakis stays out. And Jablonski looks like his car's seen better days. Vermeulen stays out on the dry stuff. So we go in searching battles once again. If you were going to stop for wets, it's already well past the time that you needed to do it. But the rain is heavy. The drivers are really tiptoeing around now. Big gaps have emerged, but they are going to close quickly towards the end.
Yeah, Rashidov has got past coal pits as the wet stuff has fallen. Just going to get a time in line very shortly. He does get the switcheroo. Rashidov up to P2 there. Coal pits P3. Friedman right on the hills.
Yeah. Rashidov absolutely dancing that car around, but he's doing a great job at it.
Oh, who was that? That was Rogers. Rogers off.
Big damage. So cars really starting to struggle now. Wish we had some indication of what tyres everybody was on. Then we could really give you the rundown of who might catch who. I've just caught Prentice in the Aston Martin down the inside of Dreadlock Steve. Easy pass for him. Dreadlock Steve down now in P10, but then he goes a bit deep.
Steve knows that he just needs to keep his nose clean. His next championship fighter is down 8 places, 11 seconds behind him. No, he dives into the pits. Oh, Steve.
Steve, you shouldn't have done that, mate. But we are now wet on the track. With 6 minutes left to go, that's 3 laps.
Korkanlakis is just now approaching Blanchimont. That is a very long pit lane.
So just picked up Sharp, about to try and overtake Rogers. Rogers, it doesn't seem to have pitted for his damage. It's carrying on. This should be easy pickings for Sharp. It is. Just drives away from him out of the source. Not often you see that. How does Rogers now manage Eau Rouge? Not with any sort of ease. The Aston Martin apprentice right behind him. Oh, there's a touch! And that's invited Rogers back down the middle. Rogers still with the grunt. Now going what looks like it was going to be 3 wide for a moment. He's going to see off Prentice and see off Sharp, but then he goes deep again. Let's invite Prentice back. Prentice tries to go round the outside, a little bit of a drift. And then the Ferrari behind is Sharp. Can he still make a move around the outside of Rogers? No, Rogers holding this together really well. As far as I can tell, he's on dry tyres with a really damaged car, and he's just coasting to a top 10. Dreadlock Steve's still in the pits. He really gave up absolutely everything for this. Korkanlakis is still, but he's now out. He's got a long way to go to Korkanlakis. Good 20 seconds.
He may be more than that, buddy.
Oh, Sharp off track. And this is going to allow Gedman around his outside. Gedman go for wets, did he?
I don't know, buddy.
So Vermeulen now back up to P24. Sharp really struggling now.
Oh, big snap from Korkanlakis there and pull on.
And he's round.
Does keep the car out the wall though.
Where's Dreadlock Steve in relation to this?
Just coming round into No Name corner. Not quite enough.
Yeah, he's still a few corners away. But Dreadlock Steve is going to get to pick up Jabino, who I believe is lapping traffic now. So Gedman side by side with Rogers. So Gedman's come through this pack here. It was 3 abreast down Kemmel Straight last time round, but with a bit of drive. He must have the wet tyres on.
I think you can definitely tell a certain mixture of who does and who doesn't. Just the amount of speed some of these drivers are having. I mean, look at Leachka chasing down Cork Malakis there.
Oh, Gedman's just lost it down Kemmel. Gedman's just lost it and now rejoins in front of... Who was that? Vermeulen. Vermeulen seemingly starting to gain positions in this final phase of the race. I'm going to trust anybody to capitalise on positions like this. It's that man there, Vermeulen, in the number 1 car. Sharp coming up on Prentice. I really wish we had a way to tell you which cars are on which tyres.
I think we might have either one final lap or this is the lap. I was looking at where Travaglioli is.
We're just going to get one final lap, I'm sure of it. Oh, as that was Prentice around. I think he just looped it by himself. And now Sharp, avoiding that, has had to let Richings through. So he gained a position very quickly and lost one very quickly.
Yeah, leader on final lap now.
Now Hanley closing down Colpitts. I think we've mentioned that a few times this race.
There's about 15 seconds between Cork Malakis and Dreadlock Steve there for the Amateur. One final lap. Can the Porsche?
Oh, there's a touch for P4. Handley on the inside of this is for the win in the silver tier, no less. So Handley in the Ferrari trying to overtake the BMW of Colpitts on track on the final lap.
Oh, that's definitely a cut there.
Oh, as the BMW gets a massive snap. This allows Hanley up the inside, but there's enough grunt to take him all the way to Lecombe and ahead. Does. Well controlled, well done. Rashidov's catching Travaglioli at a rate of knots, it seems.
I think Cork Malakis has had a moment. Dreadlock Steve is going to get a move on, I think, here. Yes, he is. Dreadlock Steve overtakes Cork Malakis to retake the lead for the Amateur.
What a story that is. What a gamble he took, especially, and this flag couldn't come any sooner for Dreadlock Steve. The track is clearly drying out.
He's just got to make one lap.
And we're still going up ahead for the win of the silver tier. And Colpitts has got back ahead of Handley. I think Travaglioli's got this in the bag for the pro tier, even though Rashidov is closing him down rapidly. So this, depending on how Travaglioli's tyres are holding up, this could also get spicy.
Speaking of spicy, Handley is sticking his nose alongside.
Oh, Travaglioli's gone deep, as does Rashidov. Rashidov has also gone deep, so that fight is almost over. Travaglioli comes into the final bend.
there from Coal pits. Oh no, big snap, big snap. Oh, Handley's got to avoid him.
Oh, he touches
no.
him on the exit. Oh no.
The leader has finished.
BMW goes deep on the brakes. Travaglioli's
Oh,
won.
big touch.
There's another touch. But they're going to drive it towards the line. How's this going to end up? The Ferrari just seems to have got a better drive out
bit
the
of a
corner.
snap there.
And Handley takes it by less than a tenth of a second. Richings benefited from Prentice and Sharp's duels and is going to finish this race on the podium for the silver tier. And Prentice is going to get the last place on the podium for the pro tier. And Sharp's going to quickly see off the other Prentice down in P8. Now positions of Brown, that's a 4th place for the silver tier, not bad. He'd think he won race 1, and it's very good recovery to come back from where he did. As we see a few tests of the barrier. And Rogers, he's just been overtaken by Gedman across the line.
He has.
Not quite sure what happened there. It looked like he almost gave it to him. So Friedman.
Oh,
to
see Rogers just annihilate the rear of the Porsche Gedman there.
Leica's Leachka is going to come home. Sorry, in P14. Grace in P15. Doran Oakenshield is just behind a bit of lapping traffic. Is going to come home in P17. Dreadlock Steve built up quite a gap in the end actually over Felix and Kokomalakis. Kokomalakis actually dropping down to P3.
A drive for him.
I don't feel as bad now for being envious of his times in practice the other day. He sees off Felix. Great drive for Felix as well, I must say. Comes home P2, P18 on the road. A lot of very strewn cars behind him, but he avoided it. Kokomalakis definitely feel like the AM win was in his hands. And he just follows Kalugin over the line. And Jablonski, the original leader of this race, is going to come home to round out the top 20. And the last man to finish on the lead lap is Mr. Is it Gareth Harvey?
It is indeed Mr. G. Harvey, Gareth Harvey.
And he comes in P20. And then we have Trotman and others in the pits. Clayton, wow. Down there. Naughty, naughty boy. What have you done to get 160 seconds worth of penalties?
Ooh.
That is quite the penalty. Let's save this replay again. So yeah, incredible action tonight, everybody. A lot of drama. That's what reverse grids do for you. It's what sprint racing does for you, and that is what FRL provides in terms of wonderful drama. So Travaglioli, what a win. He came back from quite far back and he drove all the way to the front. And we have Mr. Goggs come into the commentary box. Nice to see you. You've had an eventful evening.
That was fun. That was really fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I don't know how Stu managed to get the rain to come 15 minutes before the end, but that was fantastic fun.
Yeah.
How was it from your guys' point of view?
Chaotic.
Oh, it was horrible.
The timing screens that played a big part in our inability to commentate this evening. When you have a minute-long middle sector, you lose a lot of where everybody is. But no, it was great fun, and trying to pick out who'd actually flicked to the wets. Final stint, there did seem to be an advantage to be had for albeit maybe 2 laps, and then the track started drying out again. But yeah, some big collisions. I think you stewards are going to be busy again. I know you're still busy from Tuesday, but yeah, this was a lot of fun. A lot of hard racing. I don't think I saw anything sinister, but A few people who just pushed it to the max and found the barrier like Max and Silverstone. So they race on.
Controversial comment, that one. Did he find the barrier? Was he
Well, I
into
mean,
the wall?
I only found the barrier. How we made it there, I didn't
someone
indicate
did down
anything.
the straight.
That's true. That's fair.
I mean,
Yeah,
you might
so,
have to ask him once he's calmed down a little bit, but it did look like Gedman had a snap down the straight, and he did find himself in the wall down the straight.
Yes.
So
Yes, I had the same snap about 5 seconds before him. There's a massive water puddle right in the exit of the pit lane on the racing line, and the aquaplaned straight through it, and I just drifted straight left into the wall, bounced off the wall, and I went, watch out for the puddle at the edge of the pit lane. Chris went, okay, and then done the exact same thing as me. It was great fun to hear on the radio, but yeah, I think you touched on the stewards. It's going to be busy. I've been asked if we're doing lap 1 reviews again, and the response was, I think we have to. So yeah, it's.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, we did briefly cover race 1, lap 1 in the stream.
There seemed to just be a bit of a Constantina effect on the left-hand side of Eau Rouge. I don't think anybody's overly responsible for. Obviously, you can break it down car by car. We only partially touched on it, but it did just look like a bit of backing up.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if there's a root cause. Last time something like that happened, it was Mr. Gedman who initiated it. So I'll be checking his car first. But no, in all seriousness, that was honestly such a fun 2 races to be in. Even better that I managed to take the win in silver in the first one.
And then was it P4 on the road for this one? Or P4 in tier for the second one?
P4 in class as well, from I think it was 36 or something on the back. I think I was last 3 times in the first 2 laps, just with the mentality I want nothing to do with anyone on this opening lap, because I don't know if you caught any of it at the back. It was like first gear all through Le Combe. It was just that bunched up. It was chaotic.
Yeah, chaos. I think we saw a few people take the redrawn lines through it as well. People wanted to go over the sausage curves. People were hungry.
Yeah, bouncing on the sausage. Can I say that? Is that allowed?
Yeah. I would love to get I'd love to get feedback from one of the Mustang drivers this evening as to why there was a chosen line into Pouon that included the grass on the outside on entry.
Pouon, remind me, what is Pouon?
Mustang things, dude.
Hello.
It was the downhill fast left in the middle sector.
Oh yeah, so they were on the grass on the way in.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, fuck that. I can't say that.
That's a
You can say
10,000
one.
euro fine.
You can say one. I've read
We
the terms and
kept it
conditions.
clean for the best part of 2 hours. Second an admin and a steward comes into the chat.
I've read the terms and conditions. You can drop an F-bomb as long as it's not in the first 15 minutes, but we prefer not to. That's fine. We'll leave it there. I was enhancing the content. Yeah, well, I don't know why you would put your rear tyre on the grass on the entrance.
But I mean, I know we covered obviously race 1, obviously when Leachco obviously was going into Pouon. If you want to have a look at that, then fair enough. But it didn't seem ideal.
But he does have connection issues, man. Like he was disappearing for me, yo-yoing backwards and forwards for like 3/10 basically. So I think that's more on his connection.
Okay.
Yeah. Because all jokes aside, you can't be touching the grass and breaking through there. You will just spin.
Yeah, absolutely not. Completely.
The thing is, we saw Leachka do it, and we also saw who was the other? There was another one further down the grid that was also doing it. So there must be something.
I mean, it's a very understeer corner.
But it was just more the fact of like they'd stay completely on the grass the whole way into Pouon, but then
They'd
just
both
come
front,
directly just on the tarmac for the
front
brakes.
right and rear right, both on the grass on entry.
No, I could not do that. If I done that, I would be backwards into that.
I would say it was probably
So
what
fast.
kept Leach close to Vermeulen for the first couple of laps. It was really interesting to see that Vermeulen here was actually kept busy for a change for the first couple of laps. How did that feel in race one?
Yeah, man. I just had to break the toe, which I finally did because I knew that my middle sector would always be better than the Mustang. So once I broke the toe, I was able to, you know, pull a nice gap. But again, his pace is good. I know him from league racing. He races at Air Wall with me, so he's really quick. So I was expecting him to give me a challenge. I was surprised I was able to hold off at the start. I thought he would jump me, but luckily I stayed in front. Yeah.
It was a thorough entertaining race, and it's a shame to see both of you get caught up in things. You more than him.
Man, 1 minute 30 seconds damage, man. I had such a good start too, man. I was up to I think 18th or something after a lap and a half.
From what I could gather, what happened to you was ultimately just unfortunate. It didn't look anything malicious, anything anybody did anything wrong. It just kind of like somebody came off the curb and just took you with them.
Yeah. So obviously, the Nissan GTR clearly had a personal grudge against my Ferrari today, because the first one, I don't know what happened there, but he tapped my rear when I was up his inside, quite comfortably, like on the straight. He then tapped it, then I spun round, got hit by Friedman, but then had 30 seconds of damage. But I managed to flick spin it around, lost like 7 places. Then the next lap, he goes up Eau Rouge, loses the rear, and then I hit him again. And then the Aston then has to, try avoid him. I try avoid, but then I hit the Aston, get flung into the top of Eau Rouge. 1 minute, then I had another minute of damage, then driving like at 90 degrees to get back to the pits just to score some points, because every point matters. But it was a shame. I thought I was looking forward to the reverse grid as I always do, but as I said last week, you will be having issues at least once in the season with a reverse grid. So I don't hold anything against him. I don't hold these things happen in reverse grid racing.
I mean, especially a race at Spa when there's a lot of unbalancing of the car. There's so many curbs that you have to ride and carry speed. The car is just lofted up a little bit, and
I mean, I like I said, I was like I said, I think I took P17 at that moment, and then he tapped my rear, and then that's where my race ended. So in a lap and a half, I did well from last to 17. So I was thinking to myself, this could be another good race, and then no.
So at the end there, we did see you, one of the maybe about a handful of drivers that did peel into the pits for the wets. Was that purely just a gamble? You didn't feel you had much left to lose, or did you think, would you have done that if you were further up the grid?
I never pitted.
Or did you not?
So I pitted to repair my damage at the 34th minute mark when I got back to the pits, and then I just drove on dries. Because pitting in is the wrong call.
I must have flicked over to somebody else.
Yeah, because I was watching my live stream. I said, hopefully some people take it, then maybe I could get a position or more out of it, because you lose like nearly 2 minutes in the pit stop. But I thought anybody who pitted in, it was a mistake, because in 10 minutes you're never going to make up 1 minute 50 seconds. You're never going to do it. When I had clear, I was doing 18 seconds off my pace.
Well, you say that unless you're Dreadlock Steve. Dreadlock Steve pitted for the wets, ended up P3 in class, about 20 or 30 seconds behind the leader of his class, and came through and did win his class.
Well, yeah. You see, I think there it's more of a class thing there, because with me,
Cook did spin, granted, but obviously that is the risk that you play. It's more about the risk of spin rather than actual pace.
Yeah. So for me, I knew that I would lose about a minute max, a minute 20 max in those laps, and I was, like I said, 17 to 18 seconds off what I was doing in the dry. So I was like, the right decision. I would never have pitted even if I didn't have a disappointing second lap with incidents, I would have stayed out. It was definitely the right call to stay out.
Well, what about you, Brown? Did you see anybody really benefiting from the wets?
I didn't. I think it was Josh Clayton pitted in front of me, and never seen him again for the rest of the race. I'm sure he was a lap behind me next time I seen him. I don't know if he's been off track or anything like that. To be honest with you, I think Jared alluded to it. The pit lane's just too long here to make that viable, I think, with 15 minutes to go. You know, shorter pit lane like Zandvoort or something like that.
Oh no, they definitely,
Yeah, I would have considered that one, but I think 50 minutes, at least 90, probably like close to you said, 110, 120 seconds to catch up over 5 laps. It's not happening. As long as they keep it on the island, just crank up the TC, put the brake balance backwards, and then just cling on for dear life, to be honest.
Indeed.
It was good fun though. I did enjoy it. I really hope Bathurst is a lot sunnier next week. I could do with a dry race. It'd be good to test the Lamborghini there in the dry as well. I'm looking forward to that, to be honest. So.
You've given me a lot of hope for Tuesday, Brown. As you know, I've been struggling.
It's quick, but it's just getting the right level of throttle, I think, to get the rotation. If you go beyond a certain level, I'm sure you've experienced it, just the back end overtakes the front.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you are. I think it's just the elevation changes in the track. You can twiddle with some of the dampers if you're that way inclined, but I am not intelligent enough to do that. As far as I'm concerned, dampers are witchcraft.
So in other words, he's politely saying, Greg, it's your driving skill.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? It's exactly that.
You're driving the Lambo, are we?
Yes, that's me on Tuesday.
Don't worry, man. The Lambo's got a good rear. Don't worry.
Oh, it does. You just got to get it straight first.
TC4 is what I was using tonight.
Well, I'm sure we'll have a longer. I'm assuming we'll have a longer Lamborghini discussion of it in the Lamborghini chat at some point.
Yeah, the Lamborghini Owners Club. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll see you then.
Oh, you sad people.
Right,
this is not what the people watch. They want to see
Ferrari,
racing, not
guys.
two tarts slap their handbags around.
No, Owen's on the Ferrari side.
Yeah, only because
So I'm going to ruin the Ferrari for you now, Jarvis, right?
Yeah.
See, every time you drive that car and you turn a corner, a fast corner, look at the windscreen wiper. It moves when it's not on. It's so frustrating, and that's why I cannot drive it. I will leave you with that.
Well, I don't race on that camera anyway. I race on bonnet cam, so I can't see
fine.
the wiper.
You guys are fine then. That's oh, so do you, Jazz? That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You okay? I can't drive it because of that reason. If I just stare at it the whole time as I go straight on at Monza turn 1. So
beautiful.
I'll let you go, guys. Thank you very much for covering the stream again.
Anytime.
Really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to watching it back, especially because I've done quite well tonight. So thanks very much. I'll speak to you later.
See ya. Goodbye now.
Alright, guys. Thanks again. And I'll talk to you guys next week.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Take it easy, mate.
Yeah.
Bye.
So there you have everybody. There are some of your competitors for this evening's race, for race 1, for race 2. They had varied fortunes, but they all enjoyed themselves, even when the rain came down towards the end and spiced everything up. Many crashes, many things for stewards to go over as the week progresses. Obviously, if you like the look what you saw this evening, you want a bit of drama, do come and join us either on the stream again, like and subscribe to the channel, or drop a link in the comments and an admin member will reach out and send you the details for connecting with us, so you can come and race in either this or F1, Gran Turismo, or anything else, WRC. We've got it covered, don't worry about it. Or once again, join as a patron member to level up your FRL experience, and we'll see you again next week at Bathurst for the same format. That'll be a much trickier one to do, of a Muland extra special last to first. But yeah, we'll see you then. Have a great evening. Bye.